The chances of that are 1,000,000 to 1. And yet, there's no credible explanation for how the tip of the blade ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out an open window. Ah! In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Garadeb's house, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below.
Objection!
A full-bodied theory, I'll give you that. A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points, plausibly arranged, creating almost passable vintage. Allow me to toast my own friend's characteristically Japanese approach. The bottling his argument. Sorry? But after all, it is just a theory. The bottle, I fear, is corked. Because you see, it's spoiled by an insurmountable inconsistency. An insurmountable... What?! Lord Van Zeeks, explain yourself! What is this inconsistency you claim to have identified? An inconsistency of the simplest nature, my lord. The victim was found with a knife planted in the middle of her back. Yes, in her... Ah! Now, Jonah, what are you getting so excited about? Let us consider the basic facts of the case once more. For being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. The knife that struck her had fallen from above. There's no possible way it could have planted itself into the victim's back. Yeah. Order! Order! Well, the book. Book falls, bend over, knife. It's this thing called gravity. The theory is even inconsistency. It cannot stand. Your theory, my friend, is history. You were so close, I could see the truth. So sure you're on the right track. But now the way has been blocked completely by just one simple inconsistency. Or in other words, you simply need to eliminate that one inconsistency and the thing will stand. Miss Usato! You mustn't worry, Miss Naruto. Mm-hmm. How about I throw that glass shell at that metal shell at your head? That's all I can say.
Objection!
This inconsistency doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test. Yes. If the knife fell on the victim from above, there's no way that could have hit her in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is. What are you implying? Counsel? There is a piece of evidence in the court record that can explain this inconsistency. That can explain how the knife that fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. Really have the answer. Yeah, the book. It fell. Green ran over to pick it up. Utter madness. By Jove, woman. Surely this must be the last time. Counsel, present the evidence of which you speak.
Take that!
This, the fourth book found at the scene. This is the final piece of evidence the defense will present. The burnt book. Is that not Mr. Gowdup's book? Yes, and to understand the significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. This photographic print clearly shows the book in question, and the victim holding it in her hand. But as we all now know, it was a police constable who put the book between the fingers. Quite so, as part of his wholesale transplanting of the crime scene to the opposite side of the road. That's true, however. As part of his testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it, when we first went over the scene. In other words, the victim had already picked the book up of her own volition. And clearly, that must have been before she suffered a knife wound. Well, I should say so. After being attacked with a knife, I don't imagine she'd have been doing much of anything. By jingo! I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened now. Oh, dear me. We know that the book fell from the top floor of the Garrett household onto the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past. Yes, at exactly that moment, the young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, when all of a sudden, a book fell right in front of her. Okay. Yes, Miss Gowdap, and what do you think the woman did? What would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement? Well, I really can't imagine it, but I suppose she might have reached down and picked the book up. Yes, that is exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book. Oh heavens! And when the woman reached down to pick the fallen book up, what position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Then, in the very next moment, when the other woman was still bent over picking up the book, the next object fell from the room above, the jackknife, straight into the middle of her back. And at that same time, walking by chance directly behind Miss Green, was the defendant, Mr. Sasaki Natsume. Well, I never! It appeared to Mr. Natsume that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark and the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above. And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw no one but the victim and her apparent attacker. So there never was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place. No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident. And that is the real truth behind this case. Gotcha. Lord Van Zeeks, what news of Miss Garrideb? She has been taken to the infirmary. It appears that today's events had left her in an especially flustered state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There's no cause for concern. Yes. On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take this opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from your distant eastern homeland to study our great British culture, and have been repaid with immeasurable kindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies. No, it is me who should be begging your pardon. Oh, no, Miss Natsume. That evening, when the young woman just collapsed on the pavement before my eyes, I jumped to the wrong conclusion again in my confusion. What conclusion, sir? I was sure that the woman was dead. Yes, Constable Beats said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she'd been killed too. I suppose she must have looked completely lifeless. It's been about a year since I arrived in Great Britain now, but I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the fog, like they're haunting me. Poor Saseki-san. His imagination really has got the better of him. Yes, poor man. So when that happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should never have dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called for help for a doctor. Oh, please. Instead, I managed to create a rift in the relationship of trust between the two empires, and for that, I am truly sorry. One could indeed say that some sort of mischievous spirit has been at work here, I think. When that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps, we were befooled by this spirit and led to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Van Zeeks and our young lawyer here from the east, that chain has now been broken and the spirit exorcised. I hereby commend you both. Oh. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes, my lord. In concluding this trial, I must ask one last time for your decisions regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court? As a foreman of this jury, I can assure you reached a very just conclusion. I do declare the truth can be extremely cruel at times. Well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure. Sitting in for your being, well, she's out of action, you know, but I knew what her decision would be. Does this mean I'll finally be able to get out of here and start work? Well, it's about time.